Hey everybody, Jared of Second Life Design. Welcome back to Milling Monday. Talking about keeping the neighbors happy. This is something that I've thought about for a while, and I almost didn't even want to talk about it because I think it's almost half of a joke to people. They'll comment I bet your neighbors love you. I bet the neighbors love all the noise all the time and all the variations on that. And I think it's just something people say to say. I don't know if they really mean it or not. Or they're thinking of themselves, how they would like it if there was somebody running a chainsaw all day next to them, whatever. You can't worry about that stuff, but I think it is important to, be a good neighbor and to be aware of what we're doing. To me, I'll run my chainsaw all day and I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I know what I want to do and I know what I have to do to get the slabs that I desire. My neighbor's being forced to listen to it all day, so what can I do as a good neighbor to minimize that or to keep them okay with that to where we don't have any conflicts? I will preface this by saying that I live in a pretty rural area. I'm in East Central Illinois in what most people would consider a small town of 15, 16,000 people, a very farm-based community, rural farm ground around us. I'm pretty fortunate in that regard where I think most people are kind of more relaxed to machinery noises and things of that nature. So, if you're in a true urban setting where you're in a very populous city, you may have to find your own ways around this. But I want to share kind of what I do and how it may help somebody else. By and large, I don't mill a ton myself, and I think that's kind of also just a byproduct of the slabs that I'm after. The larger things where there's not as many the logs around. So at this point, I'm only milling a few times a year, maybe 6 times a year at most. So I'm not running my chainsaw a ton. When I am, I maximize my time. So I'm using it like I'm on winter break right now, holiday break. I'm going to be milling a lot in this 2-week period. So I'm not milling every other weekend later in the year. So I'm keeping all of the chainsaw operation in a concentrated window, so where it's not that often. I'm very adamant about where I will not start before 9 a.m. A lot of times it's actually closer to 10 a.m. and I'm done by 6 p.m. So when people are well gone to work and just after they're getting home, sitting down for dinner. So I'm very respectful of that. Whenever I meet a new neighbor, I've had new neighbors move in next to me, on other sides of me, introduce myself, give them a card, tell them what I do, and I found that a lot of, some kind of early on education goes a long way into kind of explaining what I do and why I'm doing it. Yes, I make live edge furniture, and to do that, I have to run a chainsaw mill for an extended period of time to make slabs from it. And that's kind of helped. Instead of just making noise, I'm actually making furniture. So I think when people understand that, you get a little more lenient about things to where I'm actually not just making noise for the sake of it, I'm producing something from it. And I think just the education piece of that helps a lot. What's helped me a lot also is whenever a neighbor has a tree issue with a limb coming off or a tree coming down and they need help cutting it up, I am the first guy there with my chainsaw to help. And that's been a big savior where I'm able to help in a situation where a lot of people aren't comfortable with it. If it's taking a big limb down or dropping a small tree, something of that nature, I can actually help. And that seems to kind of, put out any fires as far as noise and all that. So, I consider myself very lucky where I have not had any complaints, any conflicts with neighbors. I try and be as respectful as possible with the time that I'm operating and how long I'm operating. I'm also very respectful with the kind of the mess, the dust that comes from this, where I scoop it up, clean it up, bag it, and get it out of the area as quick as possible. So I'm not letting that blow all over and get all over people's vehicles and things like that. So a little bit of respect, I think that goes a long way. So I know that seems kind of silly, but if you want to do urban logging, if you want to do urban milling, you're going to be around other people. So whatever we can do to mitigate any issues with that is going to help us continue to do it longer. So something to think about if you're getting into milling or relocating areas, something of that nature. So I've got some big chainsaw milling coming up. I'm actually working on it right now, milling up 2 giant sycamore logs. I'm gonna have some videos on milling strategy coming up, on where to make my cuts and what kind of yield I'm looking for and what I want to get out of a log. So look for those in the coming weeks. And just regular chainsaw milling stuff, kind of on the fly tips and tricks I have. Those are gonna be coming as well. So I work out of order with these a little bit. I kind of work to what I'm doing right at the moment. So I'm getting ready right, like today that I'm filming this, I'm getting ready to do some milling tomorrow. So in the next few weeks, there'll be more actual straight milling things coming. So kind of a little backstory with that stuff. So any other questions or comments, leave them below. Anything else, you can find me on Instagram at Secondlifedesign, and I really appreciate all the thumbs up and the new subscribers. It's helping out the channel a lot. I really appreciate it. So anything else I can do for you, let me know.